Testing. Hey guys. Um, so I just spent the last 40 minutes or so reading, and I'm going to spend the next however long this video is going to be drawing these cats. So I'm entering the Ludwig Game Jam, and let me just take a look at that first frame here. I just want to make sure that I get the right brush size. So the Ludwig Game Jam is being hosted by Ludwig, the YouTuber, um, and what's cool is that we come from the same community, which is the Melee community, Smash Bros. Melee. And he's hosting a game jam. And if you guys don't know what a game jam is, it's an event where a bunch of developers and artists come together and try to create games in a short amount of time. And my friend and I, as you know, are interested in making games. My friend Nick, also known as GK Infinity, um, I'm gonna keep the lines like very loose in general for now, and then I can just refine them as I go. Or, I mean, it would save time if I could make it good right away, actually. So let's just try to make each frame already good. Um, so I'm going to be talking about the stuff that I've been learning, but also um, just narrating as I draw too. So I've been spending a lot of time recently reading books, and I don't know why I haven't been like doing this before. It's like the power of reading books is like so strong. Um, And I guess I just want to talk briefly about the process of absorbing the knowledge from the books, because you can really read and enjoy books, but learning from them is the most important thing. And there's like a sort of a three-step process to learning for me, and I just want to talk about those three steps. So the first one is like just reading, like you're just observing the information that could be new to you, could be not new to you. It could be refining information that refines what you already know. It could be a new story that you can kind of learn vicariously from the person who is in the story and experiencing it. Fiction books have that a lot. Also, nonfiction books like autobiographies and just stories that people write uh, about real events. And so you're just taking it in. You're just really absorbing that knowledge. I'm gonna focus on the boxing gloves. I guess that's like the main part of these animations. So that's the first step would be just observing, reading, and just taking it in. And the second step is like taking notes, reading comprehension basically. Uh, just like do trying to regurgitate the information you got, not only just regurgitating it, but trying to make it more concise and trying to improve on it. What's great about note taking for me is that I try to improve on the what I just read by consolidating all that information into like even shorter ideas. Um, you don't want to lose like the sophistication of the idea. So you don't want to like remove information that's like necessary for the information to be good. You want to keep the effectiveness of the information that you got when you take notes on it. Um, but you're not just copying it down. You're trying to make it more concise. You're trying to keep its effectiveness. So that's like the main things. And you don't want to take notes on every single thing. Obviously, you want to just take notes on what's important and useful for you. I always think about when Bruce Lee said when he was like forming his own style of martial arts. He always says, "Keep what is useful and discard what is useless." And so, like, if there's something that's like a piece of information in what I'm reading that I already know, reading or watching, just consuming any kind of information. If there's a piece of information I already know, I don't really take note of it. If it refines on something I already know, then I will take note of it. Um, and yeah, so um, that's like the second part for learning for me. Um, but knowledge is not really power unless you use it for something effective, and that's when knowledge becomes power. Um, so the third step for me in like this whole self-education journey, self-improvement journey that I've been taking for the past year or so, pretty much ever since I knew I was having a son, I've been trying to like really store knowledge. Um, and I've learned that the knowledge is useless until you make it actionable. So I have like a lot. I have one document on Google Docs. It's just called Notes, and it's just on all the stuff like Huberman Lab podcast notes, like life life advice on based on science, which is what Huberman uh, teaches. A lot of like financial notes from books I've read, videos I've watched, things on investing and taxes and stuff like that. All important information. And but it could really be anything, just anything relevant to your interests and your goals. So it could be like art advice for me. Oh, I have to remember he's wearing shorts, not pants. So let's just erase. Um, so uh, the third step, I do want to get to the third step. The third step is turning those notes into something actionable. So what I have is a list of rules and principles. And these rules and principles are basically action protocols that, based on whatever is happening, based on the problem I'm tasked with, like what is the rule for taking action? What am I supposed to do now that I'm faced with whatever problem is in front of me? Um, and so let's keep a really simple example and a very very powerful and effective example, which is something like nutrition. So we all know that vegetables are good for you, and it's good to know why. And so after I did some research, reading various books and watching some videos, I learned that you want to go for cruciferous vegetables, which are like broccoli, kale. They call it cruciferous, coming from uh, crucify or cross, cruce, um, which means that the vegetable grows in the shape of a cross, like it has a stem and it has some leaves on the side, um, and then it has some the plant itself, like a tree of broccoli, and then out of the tree of broccoli, like another stem will grow out of it even higher. So it is shaped like a cross, like cauliflower. They say kale is cruciferous. I'm not really sure. I've never really seen kale grow in that shape. But there's like several. But my favorite being broccoli. I think spinach also counts, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, cruciferous vegetables. I looked up like the health benefits of cruciferous vegetables, and there's like so many. I don't even remember all of them. Like they have vitamins, complex carbs. Apparently those vegetables even do have protein. There's like so many things about their chemical makeup that is good for you. And obviously, if we apply something like understanding consequences, like first order consequences, second order, and third order consequences. Like, what are the long term, like snowball effect, butterfly effect of the consequences of eating good vegetables? Well, you have better health, which probably results in better mental health, because if you have the brain is a physical organ, so you will have like good nutrition for your brain, allowing you to make better decisions. So you can probably resist like eating worse things. But make being able to make better decisions applies to pretty much every single facet of life. So I mean, I've talked about this in a few videos before, but basically, eating vegetables like solves can inadvertently solve so many problems. Like you're probably only eating vegetables to make a healthy decision for your body, but improving your body improves your mind, which improves everything. Um, so that's like one example. And that all came from just simply learning how healthy it is to eat your vegetables. And so I made it a rule for myself that, if I shop at the grocery store, the immediate problem is that I'm in the grocery store and I need to solve like what to buy. Well, I know the benefits of cruciferous vegetables, so I'm going to gravitate towards that. And it's like not even that they like taste good too. Like that's like one of the secrets of vegetables is that like for some reason in like popular media with children, they will tout the idea that vegetables are not as yummy as things like meat or milk or cheese or salt or dessert or whatever. But they actually are really good. Like broccoli, in my opinion, tastes really good, and it depends on like how well you cook it. Like, are you gonna roast it? Are you gonna steam it? And then what style of cooking um, will it, maintain the nutrients and stuff. So it's really interesting. Like I'm building all these levels of sophistication simply on the idea of eating broccoli, like because I like broccoli. Um, so it's like any problem that you're presented with, that's where the action protocols come in. If I go to the grocery store, what am I going to buy? and okay, that's a problem that can be solved if I take a look at my principles from what I've learned. So that's like the three-step process to what I feel is really valuable learning. I think you can learn something, you can read something, you just observe it, then you can try to understand it by taking notes, so trying to regurgitate those notes to see if you fully understand it, trying to make the information even more concise and consolidate it and make it make sense, and then uh, turning those notes into actionable rules. Um, and I think for me, like that process has been really fun, and it's been very natural because ultimately you're using your prefrontal cortex or the logic center of your brain to do scientific method, and I think people should know that scientific method is so useful in everyday life. You don't have to be in a lab. Like you need a lab if you need very specific like if you need a very specific environment to carry out certain experiments. Oh, this is the same frame as the idle stance. So I'm going to move this frame here to the fourth frame here so that he gets the idle stance again. I'm doing different types of punches for this cat, so we're doing the up punch now, and I'm just going to focus on the boxing gloves first. I like making the fist bigger for the active punching hand. Anyway, as I was saying, consolidating your notes into actionable rules is like been really fun. Oh yeah, I was saying scientific methods can be applied to everyday life, and that labs are only used if you need specific conditions for certain, uh, like if you're doing like DNA testing or like radiation testing, um, stuff like that. Like maybe you work in epidemiology, and you want to test like bacteria or something. Well, you need specific conditions, but in life, like a lot of the problems, the conditions are just your the life conditions that you're already in. There's no reason to like have a lab. Like life is already a place where you can test ideas. Uh, it's like life is your lab, life is your experiment. So based on the problems you're already presented with, you can like do some research and try to make your decision making better in those experience in those situations. So that three-step learning process is what's like sort of my guiding light. The scientific applying scientific method in daily life has been my guiding light in solving a lot of life problems. And I think just having this process gives me a lot of security. Like maybe I don't have um, like the strongest financial security, but like having those principles in my mind gives me a lot of confidence that I have the tools to be able to solve pretty much any problem that comes in my life. Um, I'm just talking about the learning process right now because that's kind of what I've been focused on. And I will talk about more of the specific things I've been learning in future videos. Uh, I've been reading several books, several like very popular self-help books, just because I want to see what they're all about. I know to always take things with a grain of salt. Like, is this guy just trying to sell a book that's like easy to understand? But like I said, Bruce Lee's principle: take what is useful, discard what is useless. I've been really. That's why I'm like I read things really fast, and only if something's useful and jumps out at me, be like, okay, I'll take note of that. If it's like fluff, or I know there's an agenda, or I know there's a weakness to that type of content, then I won't take note on it. And I know to just discard it. Um, and that's why some people say like be careful of what you read or something like that. But for me, it's like, well, um, maybe I am being careful in the sense that I would read anything. I'm down to read anything, but I know, based on my own principles, what to take note of and what to, just leave there and discard. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about: the three-step process of learning, and what really useful learning is the action part of it. Um, yeah, I mean, just think about the education process in general for something like a medical profession. Biology is very, very complex, infinite complexity, really, to the point that where you need to specialize in like very specific parts of biology, and to have a generalized doctor that knows everything. I mean, they're just increasing their value in the medical field, right? If they work in if they have the knowledge to work in various fields. But one of the reasons medical fields have like the required degree is because like you need to be able to demonstrate a level of expertise, and also like I think to get a PhD, right? I don't have any degree, but I think to get a PhD you have to like be able to contribute to the medical field as a whole. So like Oh, we're doing the crouch now. So, in the medical field, you spend all this time gathering knowledge, but you don't make any money and you don't do anything with that knowledge until you're out in the field and working with people and helping them solve their problems because the problems are so difficult and complex to solve. Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. Um, So, observing, reading, and then learning by regurgitating it in your mind and taking notes, um, and then taking action, turning those notes into actionable rules. That's all. Bye bye.